But these dogs have never been more valued during U.S. active duty combat than in Vietnam.
Mark Twain said one day, "The more I see of people, the better I like my dog."
Once you get canine in your blood, it's impossible to walk away. The bond between handler and dog is one of the strongest in the military. But when this partnership is lived out in war-torn active duty, it becomes unbreakable.
Dog works too fast, you can go back there.
Lackland canine trainer Jimmy Thornton isn't just reading from the textbooks. He speaks from 30 years' experience as a canine handler and faced probably the toughest active duty tour in warfare history, Vietnam. More than 9,000 Army, Navy, Marine, and Air Force handlers served in Vietnam, along with 4,000 dogs. This was the largest concentrated use of dogs in United States combat history. And it's been estimated that they saved more than 10,000 lives.
It's hard to explain, but anybody that's ever owned a dog will understand me without me even having to talk about it. It's just a feeling that that dog gives you. People have written poems and books and everything else about it. It's just a term of rapport and respect between you and that dog. Yeah, you carried a weapon with you. If somebody was going about to hurt your dog, hey, somebody would have to die before my dog's going to die from an enemy. Hey, you're a team, so you look after each other.
Unlike today's military working dogs, sentry dogs in Vietnam were only trained to attack and, if necessary, kill.
It's a team effort, you know, being in Vietnam. You build confidence in each other. Duke was a sentry dog, but one heck of a sentry dog. Yeah.
Buzz Jackson spent 2 years serving in Vietnam with his dog Duke. He now oversees evaluation and certification of the dogs here at Lackland, but there isn't a day that passes when he doesn't think of Duke.
And you're sitting there with your dog working a sector, and he's sitting there working. He started looking across wind, working the wind. And you're sitting there, and all at once, here's something I remember about Duke. He turns, and he looked at me right in the eyes because I'm sitting down low with him. And he looked at me right in the eyes, and he, like, licked me right here, then turned around, started back working the wind. So it's a whole lot of respect, bond, and for working him 18 months, you know, we knew each other.
Just as in World War II, Vietnam involved a rather unusual method of transporting dogs and handlers to required locations. Bob Dameworth, K9 program manager at Lackland, spent more than a year in Vietnam leaping out of aircraft with his K9 partner.
The process of preparing to jump out of a perfectly good airplane with a dog begins, of course, mentally. You have to prepare yourself mentally, self-assess, evaluate what you're going to do from the start. And it's like any other parachute jump, only you're with a dog. It's just that animal bond, I think, that makes the big difference. We've grown up with pets. We've watched animals on TV, and it's just, I think, a natural, stronger bond that you feel with a dog in a combat area than necessarily you would with the human counterpart.
When you build a bond, you know, probably the hardest thing I had to do was to leave old Duke.
It's easy to get choked up about it. You think about all the good times and stuff. I used to talk to him about your girlfriends back home and missing home cooking and stuff, and He'd do that, cock his head, look at you, yeah, like he fully understood. So you always remember a real good, you'll see a bunch of old dog handlers could get choked up real quick when they think about that old dog.
I would describe the dog as a partner, as a comrade, as a fellow soldier. However, the rule books describe the dog as a piece of military equipment. Those of us in the business don't look at the dog as a piece of equipment.
When they withdrew from Vietnam in 1973, the U.S. military classified the dogs as surplus equipment to be left behind. Many dogs were left with their South Vietnamese allies. Of the 4,000 that served, only a handful eventually returned home. Many handlers who worked with these dogs were highly traumatized by having to abandon their faithful companions.
A lot of guys extended so they didn't have to leave the dog. I almost did. I was that close to staying because I didn't want to leave them, but I wanted to go on and see some more of the world. It was time to go, and I regret that sometimes I didn't stay, but another guy was taking them over. Last time I left Gunner, I left him in the kennel when I had to say goodbye and leave. Couldn't go. Oh, I shed a few tears as I was walking away. When you're flying away that night that I flew out, you look down there and say, yep, that dog's on the fence line again with a new handler. If they're old, they were put to sleep. Some of them were given to the South Vietnamese to work or whatever, and I really didn't want to know. I still think him, is alive or whatever. I know he's not, but yeah, I never did find out. A lot of the guys did.
I believe that there is literally nothing that dog would not do if asked by its handler once that bond is established, to include go to its death.
Church and his team are still in Iraq, and so are their dogs, doing an exceptional job, exceptionally well. For service men and women and their dogs, past and present, active duty is the arena in which their years of training are put to the most crucial test. Every moment of preparation, physical and mental, is pushed to the forefront, and in some cases, the front line. Whether patrolling the jungles of Vietnam or the arid deserts of Iraq, the companionship and bond formed with a military working dog makes the stress of combat easier to bear.